favorite local landmarks here in the tiny village of Watkins, Glen, is the Seneca Lodge, where race drivers would come after an event and stand on the bar and hang their victory lane wreath on what over the years has become a wall of fame. Many of those great drivers have come again here to race at Watkins, Glen. We have a star-studded. If you look at all the champions, nationwide champions, Cup champions, sports car champions, 3 drivers with extensive Formula One experience, 2 Indy 500 winners, and oh, by the way, 5 countries represented in today's field. It truly is Watkins Glen International. Our starting grid, and for the first time in his career, Jimmie Johnson on the pole on a road course. Now, starting outside of row 2, our in-race reporter is Marcos Ambrose. Let's visit with Marcos.
Hey, Marcos, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
4,000, first key.
Hey, Marcos, my first question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Nick from Marysville, Washington wants to know, what lessons did you learn from finishing 3rd last year, and how do you plan to win this season?
Well, hopefully it'll be a lot easier at the front here just to look after my stuff. You know, we've got a great chance to win today's race, just like everybody else does. But I think it's going to be a lot easier to look after my tyres and my brakes or not having to pass the whole field. The way the strategy works here, if you start at the back, you've got to get off sequence, you end up passing twice as many cars what you really want. But I feel like we're in great shape here. We're going to just try to look after our stuff early on and put ourselves in good position towards the end.
Marcos, I've heard you say a number of times that you want to really be able to fit in with these Cup guys. You seem like you're doing that. You don't want to ruffle any feathers. It may take ruffling some feathers to win this race today. Are you prepared to do that?
Yeah, it may do at the end. Obviously, guys like Jimmy and Kurt here in front of me, they're looking after their chase spot. So I've got an advantage there that these guys may not be as aggressive as I intend to be if it comes down to that at the end. But right now I'm happy with what I'm doing. The strategy I've had all season has worked well for me. I don't want to do anything different.
All right, Marcos, thanks for talking with us today. Good luck in that quest for that first Cup victory. And now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Frank Kerr.
Hello, Frank. Andy Petrie up here in the booth. Have you got us?
I do, Andy. How are you today?
Pretty good, Frank. We've been talking a lot about pit strategy, and this race really is going to come down to that last pit stop and when you make it. Walk us through how you make your decision on when to make that last pit stop.
Normal, here, you count backwards, what you can do on fuel mileage. But like a practice error, we calculate what kind of mileage we're getting, but it's never the same in the race. So when it gets close to the end there for that last stop, we'll be calculating what we got on the first run, and then we're going to probably plan on a couple cautions and back it up a lap or 2 and hope for the best.
Yeah, Frank, that's when it kind of gets tricky, when you have to predict how many caution laps there are. But good luck in today's race, and hope you guys get your first win today.
Appreciate it, and thank all for coming back here today. It's going to be a great day.
It is going to be a great day. We will have onboard cameras in 7 other cars aside from Marcos Ambrose, not only outside the cars, but inside the cars. We'll be able to show you the shifting going on for Jeff Gordon's car, the 4-time winner here. We'll also take you into the floorboard of Boris Said and watch all the fancy footwork from one of the best on a road course as we ride along with Boris, who starts in the 9th position. This historic road course was built in the wine country of central New York. Now, originally designed as a 3.4-mile layout for World Crest Grand Prix cars, it was shortened to its current 2.45-mile configuration when the stock cars began coming here on a regular basis in 1986. So let's take a look at these 11 turns.
Yeah, let's go down into turn 1 first off. High speed, high braking area right here. You got to really be careful not to get into these cars. You can create some problems if you're not careful, Andy.
Yeah, and one thing you're going to hear all day long is wheel hop. That's a term we use when you really get on the brakes hard and you lose the rear tires. They start hopping up and down, lose control of the car. You see Jeff Gordon a couple of years ago lost the lead on this move right here where he wheel hopped getting into turn 1.
Ooh, all too familiar with that one. As we head up the back straightaway through the S's to the back straightaway, very high-speed part of the track. Really can't go too wide through this part. We'll see some guys attempt it at times, but they really have to slow down. Now they're going up to the bus stop chicane where it's really difficult to get get in. Another high braking area, but you have to be extremely careful here, Indy.
Now, all the high braking zones are passing opportunities, and right here it can get real risky. We saw yesterday, or actually Saturday, in the Nationwide Series race, Marcus Ambrose made a daring pass on Kyle Busch in that bus stop chicane, and it came away with the victory, with Kyle Busch having to come to a complete stop in that zone.
As we head out of turn 9 over to turn 10, another good passing area, but you have to be extremely careful here. If you can get that inside groove on your competitor, you have a good chance at making a pass. But if you get in there just a little bit too hot, you heard us talk about wheel hop. Here's a great example.
Yeah, here it is again, and you can see those rear tires just bouncing up and down, and when they're doing that, they're getting no traction whatsoever and no control, and you just wind up down here in the gravel trap.
Well, you think you're about finished, but you've got one more turn to negotiate. Turn 11 seems to be pretty instant in itself, but we saw last year just what can happen with a mistake here. Looks like a speedway crash. Watch all of these cars get involved.
You don't realize how fast the cars are going until they start hitting things, and you can see here it's very narrow coming off turn number 11.
This was last year, 11 cars involved in an incident that produced a 43-minute red flag, and there's Sam Hornish right into the barrels. Fortunately, he was okay. So much to think about on and off the racetrack. And how about the keys on how to be a maximum driver delivered by UPS?
Well, we've been talking about pit strategy, and identifying that pit window is so important in that strategy that you need to do that early. And also when to make that last stop. You use all the data that you've got. You make that last prediction of when to make that stop. But then on these last two, I'm going to need some help from the driver, Dale.
Yeah, number 3 there, stay on the course. Utmost importance. It's really hard if you get off this course at any time to have a very good day. A lot of these guys, especially battling for top 12 positions, have to do that today. And then taking care of the brakes. We talked about those 3 high braking areas. You really stand on the brakes there. You have to be careful with them at the other parts of the track.
Got to have so many talented people on pit road as well. And we've got one carrying a camera and microphone, a 15-year veteran and tire changer, Mark Hollywood Armstrong. He'll be changing the rear tires for Robbie Gordon. And Hollywood, what are your biggest challenges on pit road today?
Well, thanks, Doc. That could be the million-dollar question today. I mean, it's a backwards pit stop, so there's nothing the same from last week to next week. You just got to pay attention, focus, but don't overthink this pit stop. Hopefully we're going to do 2. We can do 3 and still win this race with the Jim Beam Toyota. But most importantly, don't make a mistake. You can have a great day today in the pits and go to victory lane.
Hollywood, thank you very much. He's been doing it a long time, folks. He knows exactly what's at stake when that car comes down pit road and stops. Very difficult. Backwards pit stop. The car comes in backwards. You got to count backwards to calculate your fuel mileage at Watkins. Oh, by the way, they drive backwards here on this course. Back in a moment.